Hi there. Welcome to Bourbon Turntable. We are the show that blends the love of music with the love of whiskey. With me tonight, live from Louisville and Wisconsin and parts unknown, it's Bourbon Turntable. With me tonight, as always, is my good friend Drew Crawley. What's up, Drew?
Howdy, sir. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Hey, we were talking before the show, and we were talking about going to see our friend Dusty Bowe Saturday night at the Monarch. Shameless plug there. Dusty's going to be we've got a show that we recorded with him. It'll be shown in about 2 weeks. But I didn't ask you, are you playing anywhere this weekend?
Yeah. So as we're recording this, it is a week prior to Derby here in Louisville, which is a giant festive time. So I've got a Friday gig here at O'Shea's in the Highlands this coming week as we're streaming. And then the week following, I will be at the Omni on Derby Day. I will be at Watch Hill proper Tuesday of next week and doing some podcasts and some other stuff in the week coming up. So lots of exciting stuff leading up to Derby next week. Yeah.
Awesome. Speaking of exciting stuff, we've got an exciting show tonight. We've got Jason Clark and Lacey Crowe of Bourbon House, and we'll get into getting to know them a lot here in just 1 minute. But we want to tell you first about the Bar Cart Co-op. We are a proud member of the Bar Cart Co-op. That includes shows like Distillers Talk with Alan Bishop and Christy Atkinson. Alan and Christy talk with distillers from across the country and around the world. Even they get into all things distillation. If you want to know more about how that whiskey in that bottle got there, that's the show for you. Alan also does a show called One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute, where you can email him questions about distillation, whether you are a distiller for a living or you are a distiller in your backyard. You can send him a question and he'll post YouTube answers to that. Really good whiskey geek kind of stuff. Speaking of geeks, our friends Pat and Mike over at My Whiskey Den, their show where craft whiskey is king, airs every Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. So be sure to tune into that. And we have one more message we want to share with you.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that bell notification to find out when new episodes are coming out, which do come out every single Wednesday on all of the services: Spotify, Apple Music, Google, maybe Amazon, definitely YouTube. And always hit that like button, but hit it an odd number of times, so then that way it stays as a like.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate your contributions to the show as always. So, enough of my yakking. Let's boogie. As do you get that reference? Does anybody get that reference?
No.
Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap. Watch Spinal Tap. Okay. Anyway, enough of my yakking. Let's boogie. Let's go with that. We've got with us tonight, fantastic band, Bourbon House. Lacey Crowe, Jason Clark. Welcome to Bourbon Turntable.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes. I guess I found you guys on it was some sort of sponsored post on Instagram.
Really?
Yes. And it was I thought Bourbon House, I gotta listen to this because Bourbon Turntable. And I was immediately hooked. And awesome. So was immediately a fan and said, "Hey, Drew, you got to listen to this band." And at this point, the fourth album had not come out yet, so we were listening to Into the Red and started there and kind of worked our way back, and now we're with the fourth album. But I say all that to say this: you guys are a Wisconsin-based band, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we were talking a little bit pre-show. Jason is from Wisconsin, but Lacey, you are from?
I'm a Canuck. I am from Sudbury, Ontario. Same as Alex Trebek, by the way. Went to the same high school, so that's my pretty
outstanding.
Smart.
Your answers do not have to be in the form of a question. So, okay. So we want to get to know you guys a little bit and then we're going to taste some whiskeys, and then we're going to talk more music and talk more music. So where did you guys meet? Where does is it a Wisconsinite, a Wisconsinian,
Wisconsin. Right?
Wisconsinite?
Yeah.
Is that it? Or dude from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We met on the internet,
Okay.
and we were writers at the time, and we were using the same website for writers.
Like
wow.
Awesome.
fiction writers. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any works of fiction that have been published?
I do. It's it's out of print, but I think you can probably find it floating around somewhere. It's called Apostle.
Apostle.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's a dark and disturbing story.
Okay. Is it under your written under your
Lacey
name?
Crowe. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to check that out.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's great. So you met online, and then you guys are married, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. How long have you been married?
Well, we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Right.
Congratulations.
That's why we
Cheers
missed
to
our-
that.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
what we were doing when
Yeah.
we missed our first interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're driving around.
Yeah. We had just so everybody knows what you're talking about. We had scheduled a time to record a show with them, and they were taking a little road trip and got held up by a snowstorm, and then forgot a credit card at a restaurant, and then didn't get back in time. So, but this gave us a chance to do this live, which will be
Yeah.
fun and a little bit fun, a little bit different. So you've been together for 10 years. That's fantastic. How do you compartmentalize the relationship of man and wife and the relationship of partners in a band?
I'm gonna let you answer this. I want to know the answer.
Well, I don't think it's really that difficult because we didn't start doing music right away anyway. We started doing music about 4 years into our relationship.
Okay.
So we just realized that maybe we could make good music together. So we started doing that in 2014. Well, I should say we started just playing acoustic shows in 2014, and then we started writing our own music in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So we already had like an established relationship and marriage before we ever started doing music.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
And
might be
also-
the difference. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one thing to point out. And also, I don't think you really need to compartmentalize it. Good thing I haven't started drinking yet.
That's why I asked that question early.
Yeah, it's not really necessary because music is such a big part of our life
Yeah.
anyway, and
Yeah.
now the band is a
Mhm.
big part of our life, and it's just, it's
Yeah.
not something we really need to separate.
No, it's
That's
it's
cool.
something that we do that's actually that we enjoy together too. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a win-win, really.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think
Awesome.
if one of us was in a band and the other one wasn't, then it would be more important. It'd be like, don't bring the band home.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, that's an interesting way to look at it. That's very cool. Because I could see how it could be you may disagree about something that you're recording in the studio, and then that carries over to, well, where are we going to go eat? Well, you got to decide we were going to do this riff instead of that riff. So I'm
You know what? That can happen, but honestly, I feel like we probably get along more. Like it's easier for music than it is for other stuff because we don't necessarily have the same taste in food. You know, and sometimes that is hard, but like we get along. We're always on the same page. Most of the time, we're on the same page for music stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are either of you Jason Isbell fans? You know who that is? Singer-songwriter out of country music in Nashville.
Oh, sure. Oh, I've heard of her.
Mm-hmm.
They
I
just
don't
did
know
they just did a big HBO documentary on his most recent record, and his wife is his fiddle player and also a member of the band, and so just the dynamics of that relationship are fascinating on how it plays out both collaboratively in the studio and creatively, and the impacts that it has in that relationship. So that's awesome to hear that you guys have things a little bit more on the same page than maybe what plays out in that doc.
That's cool. I didn't know that. It's always cool to see husband and wife duos, and
pretty common actually.
It is common. I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, that's encouraging, because I just started a job this week where I'll be working with the same company that my wife works at. So
you got this.
I got it. We've got a few more years under our belt before that happened than you guys did. So I think we'll be okay. But hey, let's drink some whiskey. What do you say?
Sure.
First thing we're going to drink together, and we're drinking Wisconsin whiskeys tonight, is this Dancing Goat Limousine Rye.
Yeah.
It is 6 years old. It is sourced from MGP Company in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, but aged in limousine barrels in Cambridge, Wisconsin. And limousine is not like, okay, we've got a stretch Hummer that we put the whiskey in. No, it's limousine without the E on the end. It's a region of France. They grow a specific type of oak tree there, and it's barrels made from that wood, and it gives it a distinctive different flavor. So let's take a sip of this, and you guys tell us what you think.
All right, sounds good.
Before we get into that, I want to share one more thing. Another Wisconsin connection is Distill America in Madison, Wisconsin on May 20th. One of the guys that runs Distill America is Fred Swanson, and Fred is the brand ambassador at Dancing Goat Distillery. So if you haven't got tickets to go see Distill America, there's still time to do that.
Cool.
I will be there. I will be in Madison on the 20th. So
nice.
Yeah.
We're playing on they have the world's largest brat fest in Madison the weekend after, and we're gonna be playing that. So.
Awesome. Well, maybe we could persuade you with some whiskey and fantastic cocktails to maybe do a little private show for our group. All right. So what do you guys think about this Dancing Goat Limousine Rye?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
It goes down.
Drew, any thoughts?
Yeah. So you and I talked a little bit pre-show about this one. Obviously, with it being MGP Rye, there's some signature characteristics of it, but I think the additional aging changes it up a little bit. So on the nose, it's quite a bit more herbal. Little bit of that dill spice, a little bit of the grassiness, almost kind of like it's not cannabis herbal, but it's a little bit like the green tea herbal. But then on the palate, it really sweetens out and mellows out just a little bit, almost like a sugar cookie or a snickerdoodle. Snickerdoodle, I say, because it's got that cinnamon nutmeggy thing on the back end. So really enjoy this one, and especially the distinction between what's happening on the nose and what's happening on the palate.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That was pretty cool.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, sorry guys, we are big geeks. Kevin and I have been friends.
That's totally fine. I would rather listen to what you're saying about it and try to pick it out.
Yeah.
Great.
No, I think you're spot on, Drew. It does kind of have, it's got a really good balance between being some sweetness and some spiciness and some grassiness, and it's very easy to just sit on the deck listening to Bourbon House and drink way too much of a bottle. Let's just be very honest.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So I do have. Where did the name Bourbon House come from? I meant to ask that right off the bat. So,
well, when we were doing acoustic shows is when we came up with it, actually. So this has been our band name. When it wasn't Bourbon House as it is now at all, but this has been our band name from inception, actually. We were doing a lot of like, Muddy Watersy kind of stuff because we
Mhm.
wanted to be a different acoustic band. You know, we didn't want to do all the covers that everybody was doing, the Four Non Blondes and stuff. Although I will tell you, that's where we ended up because people requested it. So yeah, we wanted something that sounded bluesy, that sounded like what we were doing. And we were talking about Barrel House. I thought of Sun House.
Yeah.
So House was just like kind of like in there, like it kept coming to us, and then Bourbon.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I know it does. It fits. I mean, it fits the style of the music, and we'll get into more of that in just a second. But yeah, it definitely fits, and it catches your attention. At least it catches my attention. So very good. Hey, we want to take a quick break, and in this quick break, we're not going to let Lacey and Jason take a break because we're going to let them talk about their social media, their website, and where they can get the album.
Sure. Yeah, so that's our website, bourbonhouserocks.com. It kind of leads you everywhere. You can find us on all of the streaming platforms. We're on Spotify and iTunes and wherever you listen. Yep, Bourbon House Official. You did a great job, guys. Bourbon House Official on Instagram, Bourbon House Official on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel as well, Bourbon House.
Yeah.
And then we actually sell our stuff that we can sign. So our albums and stuff, we sell it on Etsy, which I don't think a lot of bands do that. But
Yeah, that's
I don't
awesome.
know why? Because it's like really easy. Yeah, so we have a little Etsy e-commerce Bourbon House store.
Oh, look here,
There it
right here.
is.
Look at that. One just like this can be yours.
Yeah.
And let me just put in a plug for this, okay? Because it's not just a lot of times you get order a CD from a local regional band, and that, I mean, I don't mean any disrespect in that. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. But and you get a very cheap cardboard pouch with the CD crammed in it. All right, so this is the cover. You know, lovely photos of Lacey, and then on the back, you've got a lovely photo of them together, a happy couple. But it, you know, it has the little plastic holder for the CD. It has lots of information about the CD, and this I loved. I really geeked out over this because you just don't see this anymore. It's got a lyric sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, which is awesome. And so, well, thank yous on the back. So extremely well done. High class all the way. Love
we
it.
made that.
Yeah.
And we made it ourselves. So appreciate it.
Well, you could go into business making this for other
At
people.
this point, man, we've done so much at this point. I'm actually pretty good at that kind of stuff.
Okay, so this is, in fact, the fourth album, which is cleverly titled The Fourth Album. Why did you choose to name it that other than it's that in the sequence of albums?
This is you.
You know, we actually spent a year trying to think of you know, a witty album title. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized the fourth album, or call it four or something like that, you know, like Black Sabbath did. It's actually pretty clever because it's just a message saying there's 3 more albums you have to go check out.
Yeah.
You know, we're not a new band. We're established. You know, it implies a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it means, where have you been? Been around a while.
We got 4 albums. What have you been doing?
Yeah.
It's time to play catch up, and so we want to ask you guys, and Jason, we'll start with you. What was your first concert that you remember going to?
First concert, wow. I think it might have been Foreigner
All right.
When Lou Graham was still in it in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recall the venue where you saw them and all that stuff?
Yeah, they came to Wausau. They came here.
Awesome.
Lacey, how about you? Do you remember?
Yeah, I saw Def Leppard and the Tea Party at the Sudbury Theater Center. No, wait, is that where I saw it? I think so. Yeah.
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 Okay. Those are solid first concerts.
Do you know who the Tea Party is?
I've heard that.
You do.
No, I've heard of it. I could not name a single song, but I've heard the name before.
Yeah, they're very famous.
They're
Canada.
super famous in Canada, but it's
Tea Party.
there's a
Okay.
lot of bands like that. It's very interesting coming over here and him not knowing who I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, when did you move to Wisconsin?
So 12 years ago then,
Okay.
or 2 years. Before, no. You guys shouldn't have given me whiskey.
Hey, but there's more. So
Wait, it's about 12 years now.
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Was that in correspondence with your relationship, or was that an independent move, or?
Yeah. Purely for him.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
So, what about first albums? Do you remember the first album that you bought?
With my own money?
Yeah.
I think I have to think. You go first. You know what? Okay, I got it.
I think it's Aerosmith Pump.
Nice.
That's a good one too.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So they had this is not going to be a great answer. Just bear with me here. They had this like deal going on for like, this is when I was into pop music, where you'd buy like 10 CDs and they were like the hottest CDs and it would come in the prize pack. I would say that's what I did. I remember there was like Natalie Imbruglia was in there. Vanga Boys was in there. Yeah, that's my first. I think that's my first purchase.
I love it.
Okay. Now you mentioned that you guys are probably way too young to know what the Columbia House record deal was, where you could send in a penny and get like 10 albums.
Ooh.
And then you're obligated to buy certain additional number of albums at full price, which when I was a kid and I did that seemed really neat until they came looking for money for the next album that I was supposed to buy. And then I had to say to mom and dad, hey, I don't have this much money because I'm 9 years old. So, so that was a bit of a scam. So in terms of the band itself, what musically inspired you? What lyrically inspired you? What musicians, what bands out there did that?
I was always interested in the old music, that wasn't popular anymore, and most of the musicians were gone. So I was listening to Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, and The Doors and Bad Company. That's what I grew up on. It's just what I liked the most. Those bands weren't making music anymore when I was growing up, but that's just what I wanted to hear. So everything from Alice Cooper, you name it, man. Most of it was 70s stuff. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same for me. I mean, we both kind of listened to everything and we grew up on everything. There was a lot of like soul. I listened to a lot of like Etta James. We had some
that
old
tracks
country in the house, Patsy Cline, PCR. Yeah, we listened to music a lot as kids, and my dad, he played guitar and sang, and that was kind of always around.
Yeah.
Now, Drew, you had, I think you've got some questions about gear.
I do.
Yeah.
So I will get deeply guitar nerdy with you faster than you probably might like, and I'll promise to keep this chill for the live show. But Jason, I wanted to ask you about, guitar tunings. I hear some alt tunings, some open D, some dadgad, some resonators. Tell me about the choices that you make with guitars. Maybe speak a little to your collection and your gear as well.
Well, I like using various tunings because I noticed that Jimmy Page used a lot of tunings, and I just when I was learning all of the Zeppelin songs growing up, I had to retune my guitar a lot. I realized that dadgad tuning gave it, there's a couple ways you could do it. It could either sound really folksy, or else it could sound kind of like a sitar, depending on how you. So on a song. Like a couple of times I wanted the guitar to sound like a sitar, and a couple of times I just wanted to write kind of a folk song. And then I use open G on several songs.
Yep.
That comes from Black Crowes and
that Keith tuning.
Stones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stones tuning. Yeah.
You get voicings that you can't get in a standard guitar. Keith Richards takes off that low E string. He plays what he calls the 5-string guitar, but
sure.
I don't think I've ever done that. I'm just really careful in the studio to not hit that string ever. But I actually use that string like on the bridge of Devil on My Heels, so sometimes it gives you that lower crunch. And the drop D tuning we use on several songs as well, just to get a little extra, a little bit of a grunge sound.
Sure.
Certain songs.
Yeah, I know it's overly referenced, but the Nirvana and Temple of the Dog kind of sound where you have that drop D tuning. I hear the influence without being derivative in a lot of y'all's music, and I really respected the way you utilize that. So just curious. What about tone? What I maybe be wrong about this because I'm a nerd, but not a deep electric guitar nerd. So it sounds like you're maybe doing 2 or 3 pedals in terms of tone things per song. So how do you approach that? Are you a minimalist, a maximalist? What are you utilizing as far as the thought process and how you do your guitar tone?
Well, I'm definitely a minimalist on that. I don't even have very many pedals, and on my pedal board I only have maybe 2 or 3 pedals. Most of them I don't use. The wah-wah is about the only one I use. On the first
we could tell. Yeah,
and on the first 2 albums, I use like a little hot rod for an amp.
Okay.
And then the guitars were a Les Paul and a Stratocaster. Occasionally I play a little bit of a Telecaster. But then on Into the Red, I used an SG and a Les Paul.
Okay. So a little bit more of that crunchier, dirtier tone kind of thing naturally. Yep. I know pickup selection is a big thing. And I promise I will cease with the guitar talk after this. We can get back into it. So where are you running your pickups? Because I hear a lot of bridge pickup stuff. And that could be, back end editing or whatever, but what are you utilizing as far as pickups? Are you using, stock stuff? Are you putting your own things in there? Are you running it wide open?
Pickups. Yeah, I have a 96 Stratocaster and a 96 Les Paul.
Okay.
And, the pickups that are in there are the ones I use. I do use the bridge pickup most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly
awesome.
I'm not a guitar.
That's a great question.
I'm not a guitarist like Drew is, but I do have one gear question for Jason. Were you born with a guitar slide on your hand? Because brother, you play some fantastic slide guitar.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I started trying to get good at that at about the same time I started learning guitar. So
okay.
Right from the start, I realized that was a part of my playing that I had to get good at, because I felt like it was something that would just set me apart from all the other guitar players, because everybody I knew was learning guitar, and I thought, some of them are going to be better than me, so I got to have something that sets me apart. But I used to see a lot of blues bands around here, and we used to get a lot of really good Chicago blues guys come up here to
Mhm.
play the clubs.
Mhm.
And I saw a lot of guys playing with the slides, so I just thought that's something I need to get good at.
It's such a
Yeah.
cool section.
I still don't feel like I'm
Yeah.
good at it, but you know.
You tear it
really
up,
good
brother.
at it. You're
Yeah.
really good at it.
Any significance to the '96 year? Is there a reason why those are your two guitars, or just that's when you bought them and that happened to be the case?
That is coincidence. I bought the Les Paul new in '96. It was when I was learning to play, you know, and I thought, well, if I have a really nice guitar, I'll have some incentive to get good at this. And then the Stratocaster just happened to be a '96 when I bought it.
Okay.
I mean, I wanted something from before 2000 because I always feel like they sound better than the new Strats anyway.
Yep.
It just happened to be
Cool.
a '96.
I love it. Well, we can save the deep nerdery for after the show is over. I'll probably grill you incessantly. That's one of my favorite conversations, but we can save that for later.
Very cool. Awesome questions.
Yeah. So in addition to Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix, any other guitarists that you would say these are people that were an influence or that you try to pattern certain aspects of your playing after?
Oddly Freed from Cry of Love. I've probably spent more time trying to play like him than anybody else.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he's he works in studios now in Nashville.
Yeah.
And, but he still tours with people as needed, so he stays pretty busy. He's really, really good.
Wow.
Awesome. That's great. Kevin, can I shift the questioning to Lacey just a little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
So, we've heard a little bit from Jason, but when I listen to you sing, Lacey, I hear some crazy mix of Etta James, Janis Joplin, Norah Jones, and Amy Winehouse.
Amazing.
Who are you listening to? Like, where the hell does that come from?
Well,
You have
so
this
those
incredible
are all-
tone, and it switches.
Those are all artists that I've listened to extensively. So, and even Norah Jones, which is like not, a typical comparison for me at all. It's interesting that you say that because I went through a huge Norah Jones phase. So obviously, I've been influenced. Yeah, I don't know. I just typically, besides her, I typically am just drawn to like really big voices, but also like soulful voices. Like I'm really into tone more than I am into, impressive highs and impressive lows. Like tone is what I go for.
Yeah, I think that's super evident. And just, the Norah Jones comparison for me is when you get into that lower register and it's not whispery, it's more growly, if that makes sense. Like there's just a little bit of like angst behind it, even when you're a little low. And I love it. So
thank you.
Hopefully that is taken as a compliment because that's how I intend it.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
I feel like a lioness. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
The first thing that captured me about your music was your voice, and it's kind of, I don't know, that type of voice always appeals to me. Even if you get into Susan Tedeschi or Bonnie Raitt, I can listen to that all day long. You can sing the phone book and I'll listen. In terms of vocal range, though, I think that really stands out in the song Villain on the new album, because you start very low and it kind of builds higher during the course of the song. Do you know what your octave range is, or do you care? Or
I've never tested it. I don't actually know what it is. Maybe because I don't care, but I do kind of care. It would be cool to know, I guess. But like, no, it's not something I ever tried to really figure out. I'm like super inspired by Chris Cornell, so I always like credit him for my
that's good
range that I do have. I feel like I need to, because trying to sing like him as a male is hard. As a female, like I do have some advantages to his high notes, but his lows, I do not have any advantages. So those I really, the low notes I really credit to trying to sing like Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
He taught me.
Were you?
Awesome.
Did you receive any formal training as a singer?
I did not do that either.
So just self-taught, sing it, and
Yeah, I was pretty like painfully shy as a kid, so that's something I would have not. There's no way I would have.
But you recovered
through that. Oh yeah, I'm fine. But like somebody telling me what to do is like that's not cool.
And apparently that's something that Jason has already realized because you've been married for 10 years. So good on him. All right, let's before we get into some more questions, let's drink some more whiskey. The second thing we have is this J. Henry
That's my coffee.
Bellefontaine Reserve. It is 5-year-old bourbon whiskey finished in cognac barrels, and Bellefontaine, I think, is French for belly fountain. No, not. It is French for beautiful spring, and hopefully the fine folks at J. Henry will forgive me for
Fountain.
that horrible joke. So,
I
cheers.
But yeah.
Love it.
What do you guys think about this one?
Not as smooth. Stronger. A lot stronger.
Yeah, clear though.
That's all I got.
What's the difference in proof points, Kevin?
This one is
103, it says on.
yeah 103, and the other one was 103. No,
I've
that's not
got
right.
93.
Not 93. 93 was the first one, and 103 was the second one. Yeah.
Okay. So we're jumping up a bit in proof. Yeah.
Yep.
Any other thoughts from you guys?
What you got?
Yeah, it's a little bit stronger. It's not as smooth. It's got some bite.
Yeah, I feel like
But
it went straight to my chest.
also, I can taste sweetness in it though. It tastes a little bit more like butterscotch or candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That may be some of the cognac influence. So that's good. Drew, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I liked a little bit of attack on this one, just a little bit more kind of in your face. I don't necessarily find it to be aggressive, but there is just a little bit more of the cognac thing on the nose. So quite a bit more of that influence, a little bit more sweet on the nose than the previous one. On the palate on this one, I get a lot more of the darker aromatics, so maybe like a butterscotch, almost like maybe like a banana pudding or a bananas foster, like the caramelized fruit sugar kind of a thing.
The caramel stuff, yeah.
Like a butterscotch pudding, bananas foster, somewhere in that range. But it really presents well. So I enjoy this one.
There are, and I was up in Wisconsin, I guess back in September, and we went to several distilleries up there, and I was really impressed with what I saw there. And our good friend Patrick over at my whiskey den, he's a Wisconsiner or Wisconsinian, and he's talking about Nancy Fraley and Joe Henry Jr. over at J. Henry and Sons Distillery. They do a great job with their stuff.
Nice.
And where was it? The Bry guy who's been active in the chat. I want to find these whiskeys now. I believe both are available at sealbox.com. That's SEELBACHS.com. Our friend Blake Greiber has a business where he will ship craft whiskeys to most states, allow that. So check that out, sealbox.com. So that's the Sealbox plug for the evening.
Nice.
Yeah. So one thing that at least I started out with Into the Red, which was released 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And then kind of worked my way back. The first album was a self-titled album, Bourbon House. And can you give a brief explanation of the album cover, please?
Not it's not me. God, I don't know. Like, what were we going for here? Some kind of lizard swamp creature.
I don't remember, but I know we were drinking a lot of whiskey at the time.
It's a naked yoga woman with, snakes.
with purplish hair. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I had purplish hair at the time. So there's that.
Okay. Well, that tracks too. Good.
Awesome. Yeah.
And the next album came out the following year in 2018, Wild Abandon. And there you are with your hair flying through the air, defying gravity. To me, those two albums kind of went together from a sound aspect. And then there was a few years gap there. I don't know if COVID played into that or if you were just working on different things or what, because the next album came out in 21.
Yeah, we released singles after that.
Okay.
Those two, we put out the entire album, which is in today's day and age not a smart thing to do.
Right.
So, whatever, that happened. But then we released Devil on My Heels as a single. That was our first single. And then we had 6,000 Miles was one. Too High to Care was a single.
I Got Trouble.
And yes, I Got Trouble. So, and that's why. So we had
Dead in the Water, was that a single?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
And that's Into the Red.
Yeah.
And just to me, there's a change in the sound of the band from the first two albums than that album.
Yeah.
It's like your sound gelled in that third album.
Our production got better, so that was I think a huge thing.
Right.
For that,
I think we got better at recording, better at producing.
Yeah.
We raised our standards when it comes to mixing and
Now, were you self-producing everything?
Yeah.
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 Do you have a home studio? Do you have a studio that you use?
No, we go. We've been to several different studios, but we are at Cherry Pit Studios in Menominee Falls, right by Milwaukee. That's where we've been doing. We did most of Into the Red there. We did all of the fourth album there, back there. So
awesome.
Okay. And then just talking about sound, the fourth album, to me at least, was kind of a continuation of that sound that you developed with Into the Red, with the vibe being different from song to song. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to be as diverse as possible. I mean, if we're up to me, we would have, a country song, then a swing song, and then a ragtime.
It's just a little much. We're not going to do that, but
a schizophrenic jukebox of an album.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have some sense of identity, and I guess you got to put limits on yourself to some degree. But I don't want to go in the other direction and have every song sound the same either.
Right.
Which is what most bands do, I think, especially more so these days than ever. But in the 70s, a band really wanted to have, they'll have a piano song and they'll have acoustic. I mean, even listen to a Black Sabbath album and you'll hear maybe a piano song, an acoustic song, a doom song, a rock song.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody does that anymore. So that's kind of what we aim for.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I think you hit you touch all the bases. And some of it is there's some classic blues and there's some modern blues rock. And I think the song Hotel Bar Blues kind of captures both.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat the way you bring that all together.
Songs in one, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Really? That's so interesting. I love hearing favorites from people because it's almost never what I expect them to say.
We had talked a little bit about playing live shows. I just from what I pulled off of your website, that's what we see right now. You talked about the world's largest brat fest is in Madison on the.
That's the Madison one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Lebanon, Missouri is Route 66 Fest, which is going to be really fun. Unity is Monster Hall Music Fest, is what it's called, and then Cadott, we're at Rock Fest.
Okay, cool,
awesome.
We have some other ones sprinkled in there too.
Okay,
but those are like festival-y ones.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about this pre-show, but what is there a plan to try to play some more live events?
I mean, that's always the plan. Yes. We're writing right now and we're recording right now. And then we have these, the summer stuff. So in the fall, and the winter, we'll probably be looking into doing some more things, but, we're focusing more, I guess, on the releases.
Okay. Now, you say you're already, I think I saw a post today that you're already 9 songs deep into the next album. Is that correct?
Yeah.
This album, is really, really old at what, 2 weeks?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already recorded. Well, we partially recorded 5 of them, and we currently have written that we're putting together right now another 4, and then we're gonna get one more together for the beginning of May. We only have like a week and a half, I think, before we go back to the studio. So.
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean this in the most positive of ways, but there seems to be a strong continuation between your first 2 records and the 3rd and 4th. Are those, kind of linear ideas and you just kind of arrange them, or is it just more so like, hey, we had this group of songs that we really like the most right now, and then it happened to be tonally similar to the next group of 10 or whatever? Or was it always the plan when you were writing to kind of do 2 projects off of one kind of group of writing? Does that make sense?
No.
Okay. My apologies then. So let me refine that just a little bit. So when you were writing, your 3rd record and this 4th one, was that one group of songs that you kind of split up into 2 records, or was it, hey, we were writing for the 3rd, we're writing for the 4th, and that just happened to be similar?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
We write for whatever record we're working on at the time, obviously.
Okay.
But, and we kind of storyboard in a way. So we'll not at first, like we'll start just writing and see what happens, and then from there we'll kind of realize what we have already written, and then think of what could make the album more dynamic. Like what kind of songs we need from there, and then we would write those ones.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. No, that makes a lot of sense. I just could recognize a little bit of a similar tone.
Yeah.
In the first 2 and the second 2. So just curious how that worked for y'all. Appreciate that.
So you've already written some songs for the next album. You've already recorded some for the next album, and you've got plans to write some more. What inspires you when you're writing a song?
Well, I'm inspired by what he's playing, honestly. A lot of times for me, it's riff first, especially this last batch of writing. We haven't really done any that like started with a vocal melody. Some of them have started that way, but most of the time it starts with a riff. And he is just full of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always inspired by other guitar players and other bands. It's not too hard for me to come up with a riff or a cool guitar part. And I don't feel like I need to get inspiration directly from something. I basically say, if it's time to write a song, let's write a song. So you sit down and you just write a song. If you wait for inspiration, you might never get anything done.
Yeah.
We schedule our time for writing songs, and we sit down and we write a song, or at least try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't always keep what we wrote.
Sometimes we write something and we don't develop it because we feel like it's not good enough, or sometimes we might keep a little part of it, sometimes we might keep all of it, and
Right.
but we schedule our studio time to record an album before we've written anything.
There's the motivation, right?
Yeah.
So then know that say in October we need to go record our 6th album, for example. So that's just how we do it, and we only record 5 songs at a time. Never go to the studio and try to stay there for a long session and record more than 5 songs at a time.
Yeah.
We only take 5 at once, and we'll record a half an album.
That's new though too. That's something that we did different on Into the Red and the 4th album that we didn't do on the previous 2. Those ones we were went into the studio with 10 songs and tried to do it in 3 or 4 days.
Record the whole album in a weekend, and then we thought, if we spend more time on fewer songs, we'll probably have better results. So
now we aim for a day a song.
Here's a question from the chat. What one song, if any, had the biggest or most emotional impact while writing it on a personal level?
Jeez, very deep.
I think it would probably have to be "Take Us Away" because we wrote that about and for Chris Cornell right after he died.
Oh, wow.
So we wanted to write a song that was sort of a tribute to him and his songwriting.
Yeah.
So the heavier part, it's the second song in Wild Abandon. The heavier part is kind of like a Rusty Cage sort of riff, and real aggressive vocal and everything. Drumming is real aggressive. And then the middle part sort of plays homage to his solo songs, especially the acoustic songs, where, those songs are a lot more, I don't know what the word is.
He does a bunch of weird.
They're a little
chords.
more emotional.
Yeah.
It's less grunge and it's more like his solo work was, and then it goes back into the heavy part, and it's like that was probably the only song that actually meant something as we were writing it. And
that's why it was such a hard question. I'm so happy that you remembered that and came up with that.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say none of them.
We don't get to some of our songs are emotional, and I guess while I'm writing lyrics for it, or even while I'm singing it, if I'm performing it, I feel the emotion of it, and I can pull on times when I felt that way,
Right.
But nothing has been specifically about something, I guess, that's going on in our lives. Except for that Chris Cornell one, and lyrically it's for him as well. So good job.
Yeah.
Take Us Away. That's what it's called.
Awesome.
Good question. Thank you.
Great question.
So when you're trying to come up with riffs, is it solely when I'm sitting down, I'm going to write a song, or could you be, you're like when you went on your trip and you're
in his head,
right? Things in your head. Do you start thinking, okay, well, what would the soundtrack be to this scene we've got here, or this line in a book, or something of that nature?
It doesn't really happen to me.
Yeah.
When I write a song, I literally just pick up a guitar, usually an acoustic guitar, and have no pretenses in mind. And I just let my hands do whatever they do. I let whatever is going to come out. And I don't put any limits on the tempo or the key or anything, or what genre. I literally just pick up an instrument and start playing whatever comes out.
Yeah. Kind of like
I start playing something pretty cool, and sometimes I don't. So
kind of a stream of consciousness
I
guitar
just
playing.
my mind completely blank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that at a piano or a guitar or whatever, and I just let something come out. But you got to be really open and have no preconceived notions about what you're gonna write.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had some guests on here that are guitar first or riff first or music first kind of musicians, and we've also had some that are lyric first kind of people where there's a thought they're trying to convey and it gets retrofitted with the music. So really interesting to hear. It's just more open. That's fascinating. I would say you're one of the few bands that we've had on here that are just kind of trying to see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting for us.
Yeah.
Another thing that you guys bring is your videos, which are really well done. Who does the video work?
Her name is Jocelyn Berriman. Cyclops Girl Productions is her production name.
Right.
Yeah, she's our girl. We kind of will send her the song that we're doing and just see like what vibe she's getting, and almost always it's like we're like, yeah, like that's exactly what we're thinking, or we had no idea and she came up with something and then we were like, yes, perfect. She's been fantastic. So
because some of the videos tell the story of the song, like 20 to Life off the fourth album. Other videos like Blue Magic, it's more communicating the vibe or the feel of the song. And both get done really, really well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, we love doing music videos.
It's just
really fun.
It's another outlet for being creative, I guess.
Yeah.
Just bring another dimension to the song. I mean, I don't really want to shoot a video where we're just standing in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Or this is us on stage playing the song, I mean,
here we are pretending to play the song. Yes.
Exactly.
Do you have a favorite video?
I think it's kind of hard. There's a couple that are my favorite. I really like 20 to Life. I like the, I just like the vibe of it. It's kind of campy. But visually, I think that Blue Magic has, like, it definitely has all the colors and his clown thing, just awesome. He's such a good side clown.
Those are probably my favorites too, because I think the videos keep getting better. I think our director's getting better, we're getting better, the songs are getting better. And so I guess that's part of what keeps us going.
How do you challenge yourselves to keep getting better?
We just hold ourselves accountable. We're just not, I don't know, I feel like I'm not able to get worse. Like I won't allow myself to, and he won't allow me to, if that makes sense. We're very critical of what we do. And we've, burned some bridges because of that probably, but you gotta, we really own our product and, we care about it. So cutthroat kind of.
Is there somebody out there that is the voice in your head saying, that's not really good enough, or why did you choose that? Or is it just the two of you holding yourselves to the standard?
I would say it's just the two of us. Yeah. I hear like my mom's voice and my sister's voice in my head. My mom and my sister are doing it, but no, it's really the two of us.
It's self-discipline and self-criticism. And we just want to keep getting better, and you got to step back and listen to it the way the audience hears it, and ask yourself if it's something that you would listen to. If it wasn't your project, if you were just like some random guy album, would you think it was good, or does it sound amateur and crappy? I don't know.
Mhm.
You got to be really honest. We've thrown songs in the garbage even after recording them.
Mm-hmm.
Just said we can't fix it. We can't make it good enough. So
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to be kind of tough to do after you've put all that time into it and that money into it. To say it's just not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of tough, but it's also not tough at the same time because, we're like, it's got to happen. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So you're working on the next album. What can we expect from it?
I think it's our best one yet.
Yeah.
well,
Love it.
that's
Love it.
great, but I've never heard anybody say, "Well, we're coming out with a new album, and it kind of sucks."
It sucks so much. You'll hear, the same kind of dynamic. We're definitely going for not a roller coaster, but we want different vibes, different moods. I actually have like a mood board. So that I can make sure that I'm not doing too much of stop. Not every song can be depressing. It just can't happen.
Did you hear that, Drew?
Yeah, I hear you. You can just negate that. I like to write sad country songs. But yeah, go ahead.
That's fine. Everybody loves a sad country song. So
There's going to be a few surprises, things that we've never done before.
Yeah.
A few genres that we're kind of delving into a little bit that we've never done before, but it was fun. It's still kind of our vibe.
Yeah.
And we have a signature sound, and that'll be, half the album will be our signature sound. So.
Definitely some like heavy blues rock.
Yeah.
Going on. Things you'll expect.
And it'll be recorded at the same place as the fourth album, so it'll have the same production level.
Okay.
Great.
Awesome. Do you guys have a consistent producer that you work with or engineer, or are you guys the producers and you just have a sound engineer that you work with?
Yeah, we're the producers, and his name is Eric Labrosse. He owns Cherry Pit Studios. He's our engineer.
Okay. Awesome.
Very good. All right. Well, we'll start wrapping things up here. You guys, it's been fantastic having you on here.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. Appreciate you taking the time.
All right.
It was fun to do this live. I can see in the chat that we've got some people that are normal watchers of our show that are here and to hear you guys. And we've got some people that are big Bourbon House fans that are here that are seeing our show for the first time. So this is a nice little crossover. And hopefully everybody goes away having a good time with it. But as we're wrapping things up, I want to give you guys a chance to talk about where you guys can be found on social media. I've got this little graphic here. This is your Instagram, right?
Yes. So yeah, we both have a personal page on our Instagram. The .bh. I think he started that. I stole it from him. Bourbon House Official is our main one, so that's where you're gonna find most of our stuff. We're very active on social media. We're on TikTok too. We're on Facebook, Twitter.
Awesome.
So yeah, you can find us anywhere. And
It's actually us. We'll respond to you.
It's for real. I actually got a message today from somebody on Twitter who asked, "Is this really the band?" I'm like, yeah. Totally the band.
Yeah.
Well, when I first reached out to you, it was through an Instagram direct message, and said, "Hey, this is our show. Would you guys want to be on sometime?" And is this Lacey?
Yeah.
And it was. It actually was. So no fake people responding to your social media for you. And and you guys, again, Bourbon House Rocks is the website. You can get all the great information there. And I'm telling you, you need to get this album. This is it.
We do have it back in stock, so
well, we have a phrase that we use on the show. We don't use it too often, but we have a phrase that I think Drew coined, and that phrase is "no skips, no misses," and that definitely applies to this album. When you look down, Resonate, Love is a Killer, Out for Blood, High Road Gypsy, which is a very neat. You talk about changing a vibe in there. That really does it.
Yep.
20 to Life, Villain. We talked about that already. really showcases your voice. Hotel Bar Blues, again, kind of a old school classic blues and new hard rock blues as well. Blue Magic, if you I guess you've got to, well, don't just check out one song on an album, but this is, if you're going to check out one video, that's the one to start with. And Wild Days, that's got that Led Zeppelin feel to it with the acoustic at the start.
So surprising. Well, though.
Yeah. But then the bonus tracks, there's an acoustic version of Devil on My Heels, which was off of In Red album, which was my favorite from that one. That's just so good. And then an acoustic version of High Road Gypsy. And there's not anything close to a dud in this bunch. And that says a lot. And if you're telling me that the fifth album, or whatever you end up calling it, is better, I can't wait for that. And
we're putting the pressure on, so we're gonna really not let anybody down. That's we'll let ourselves down first. So
well, if you're holding yourselves to that standard, then you don't have, and you're not letting yourselves down, you're not going to let anybody else down either. So but Drew, while we're talking about social media, where can folks find you?
Sure. The main spot that you can find me now is at drewcrawleymusic.com. That's going to have links to social media and concert dates and all that kind of stuff. We are in the process of doing a rollout for this next album. The official release date will be in November, but in the meantime, we are doing a lot of work playing some of these songs out live. So check those out. Check out the website for those dates. You can also find me on Instagram at drew.crawley63. And if you want to see me being an asshole in general, you can find me at drewcrawley63 on Twitter. That's generally where I am, just being kind of a jerk. So follow wherever you would like to see the experience.
Yeah, we love you even when you're being a jerk most of the time. As for our show, you can subscribe on YouTube. If you're new to the show and you're tuning in tonight to see Jason and Lacey, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. We've had a lot of really good bands on here. We've had the Cold Stares. We've had a great up and coming local band called Sweet Lady. We've got a band called Blue Funk. You talked about Foreigner. The lead singer of this band was the guy that stepped in and for Lou Graham when he first left Foreigner, Johnny Edwards. So you check them out. We've had a lot of really fun things, music-wise and whiskey-wise. You can learn a little bit about both. The two things seem to go hand in hand to us, and hope you agree. So you can watch the show on YouTube. If you just want to listen, we do have podcast platforms as well, Apple, Spotify, and Google. We have a Facebook page called Bourbon Turntable, where we will post all of our shows. We have a Facebook group also called Bourbon Turntable, where you can go in and you can post a picture of what you're drinking or post a link to what you're listening to. And, we all are learning about new whiskeys and about new music, or reminded about things that we haven't tried in a while or haven't listened to in a while. So it's a fun group of folks. So please check that out as well. And Drew, our next week's show is talk about campy. This is our version of campy.
Yep. We've got our Blanton's show. So for those of you that are whiskey fans for a long time, you know a lot about Blanton's. We're going to be doing a deep dive into the various expressions, the marketing BS, and what is really the truth and the draw behind the Blanton's brand. So it's going to be a fun one for sure.
Yeah. The music equivalent of Nickelback, not spoiler alert. So anyway, again, we want to thank Jason and Lacey for being on with us. We've had a blast. And reminder again, get that album, Bourbon House, the fourth album. You will not be disappointed. You'll be very, very impressed, I'm sure, both with the vocals from Lacey, which are you just touch my heart. And then and it's like, okay, wow, this girl is fabulous. And then, well, wait a minute. Who's this guy playing guitar? And so And so the whole package is fantastic, and it's well done from the packaging of the CD to especially what's on it. So be sure to check that out. So, but again, thank you very much for being with us. And on behalf of Jason and Lacey and Drew, until next time, cheers, love, and free bird.
Cheers.
Night, everybody. Thanks for tuning
Bye,
in.
guys.
See ya.